I'm Trish. Welcome to my channel. I make videos about homemaking, housekeeping, cooking, and my life on the Oregon coast. I've been wanting to make this particular video for quite a while now, and I think it's more relevant than ever. Here in the US, we are about to go on a wild ride. I can't predict what's going to happen, but it feels scary. One of the ways that I mitigate having so much anxiety over uncertain things like job loss and the economy and inflation, potential food shortages, is to be prepared. I have long considered myself a prepper, and I'm not the type of prepper that keeps bullets and seeds. It's more prepping for next Tuesday. This is my first video in a series where I wanted to share what we do to manage our finances, our food, and our mental health during these economic downturns. And coming from a background where my husband worked in agriculture, there have been a lot of those for us. It's a very uncertain field to be in, and you can handle this with grace and dignity and with your credit score intact. So I want to show you what we've done, and if you find something useful in that, please take it and make it your own. This is not going to get us down. We're all going to get through it together. Let's get started. You've all seen this side of my kitchen many times, but today I'm going to take you on a tour of my 3-tier pantry system. Here's my view when I'm talking to you from the other side of the camera. I have open shelving and clear containers. That was a deliberate design choice based on how I actually live and cook. This is what my original kitchen looked like when we first moved in. I wanted to open up the space in my kitchen to give the illusion that there was more room than there actually is. I also wanted to be minimalist, and I want easy access to the things that I use every single day. So daily use items go in a clear container on the open shelf. On the lower shelf, I have my spices and my cookbooks. These everyday spices are the ones that I reach for constantly while cooking. I have onion powder, garlic powder, dill, oregano. I've got cayenne, sage. These are the things that I'm going to need to get through my day and make meals for my family and my guests. I also keep our cat food in a container up there. And if you've met our cat, you'd understand why it has to be on a shelf in a plastic bin. On the next shelf, I keep the dry goods that I'm going to use for meals this week. That's our pasta, the dried peas, my rotini, my beans. I've got several kinds of beans there, navy and pinto. I've got brown rice and lasagna noodles. On the upper shelf, I have greenery, and that's just for my own peace of mind and happiness. Where we live on the coast, we get a lot of rain, and having something green and pretty and bright to look at helps me to feel a little better about life. Over here on the right side, I have my powdered items. So that's going to be flour, powdered sugar, ground coffee, pancake mix. I've got potato flakes. On the second shelf, I've got cornmeal, dry cereal, more ground coffee. Up here on the top shelf, I have dry cereal, white rice, butterscotch chips, chocolate chips, and coconut. I will probably use all of those this week. That's why they get to be on the shelf. I do reorganize this every Sunday and refill the items that I believe I'm going to need for the week. You'll notice that I've also included some greenery on this side as well, and that's again just for my own peace of mind and well-being. I'm lucky enough to have a huge island. I don't keep any food in there, it's just for equipment. You may have noticed the fish tank. That is not a necessity, but I enjoy fish and they help me to feel calm and peaceful, and so I like to have them nearby when I'm doing my work, most of which is in the kitchen where I take reservations, I interact with my guests, and I do a lot of food prep and laundry in here. It's nice to have something beautiful and calming to look at. This is my second tier pantry. I'm going to walk through my decisions step by step. On the bottom, I have matching bins, and I have cat food, dog food, garbage, and recycle. We have to sort out the recycling about every other day. On the bottom shelf, I have my baking basket. This has my cocoa, my coconut sugar, molasses. If I'm going to make a sweet treat, I'll probably find the ingredients in there. This is my savory basket, which has my cornstarch, my salt, and the things that I need to make dinner on a daily basis. And over here, I've got some seasoning packets and my yeast. On the next shelf, I have drink mixes, sugar, crackers, oatmeal. These are some little packaged things that I may have use for during the week. And these are oils. Next up, I have canned goods. Everything on this shelf is probably going to get used this week or next. I keep the vegetables right here, and I've got some fruit over on the side and some Hershey's caramel. Because we're plant-based in our diet, we do have some pretend meat. We've got vegetable scallops, tuna, and roast beef style unmeat. I also have some almond butter and artichoke hearts and mushrooms. I'm going to put those in a pasta, as well as some sun-dried tomatoes, some squash relish, and black olives. Way up top, I've got my crock pot and my KitchenAid attachments. Over on the side, I have a Jackery and a flashlight lantern, as well as my fire extinguisher. I strongly recommend getting a Jackery if you can afford one. It's basically a battery. There are 3 ways to power it. You can plug it into the wall and charge it, and it will hold a charge kind of like your cell phone does. Or you can charge it in your car, or you can buy a solar panel and have it go for several days. Jackery makes several kinds of these, and I'm not sponsored by them, but I do like this product. I recommend looking at various models and finding one in your budget and having that on hand. It's a really great option if the power goes out to power little things for a little while. At least you can keep your cell phone charged and stay in touch that way. It also has enough energy to power a small portable fridge if you have medication or insulin that needs to be kept cold. My husband has plugged a CPAP into it, and we've used it to keep our fish tanks warm. So it's been really useful, and it didn't cost us very much. I think we paid $200 or $300 for it, and it might have been a Black Friday find. So that gives you an option if you're thinking about acquiring something like that. This is the crown jewel of my preps. I run a small hospitality business on the coast, and my husband and I affectionately refer to this as the company store. There's a specific method to my organization. Up here on the top shelf, I have things that are one-offs and stuff that I'm probably going to use in the next 3 months. I go through a lot of tomato products, so I've got some canned soup, I've got mixed vegetables, there's tomatoes with chilies, refried beans, enchilada sauce, and some seasonal things. I've got the cranberry sauce, some fruit, and things to bake with. This is where I keep my less used spices. Things that I'm probably going to need, but I don't make poppy seed bagels every week or even every month. When I do, I want to have poppy seeds, and here they are. Same with bay leaves. I don't need those all the time, but it's nice to have some on hand. Up here, I've got my dry goods. I've got coffee beans and tea. I've got corn husks to make tamales and my husband's favorite cereal. I also have grits. I have stovetop stuffing, some crackers. I want to talk about the cake mix. We have gone through a lot of tough times economically, but birthdays still happen and there are still moments to celebrate in life. Certainly I can make a chocolate cake as well as anybody can, but I do keep a cake mix because I want to make it easy. If my husband feels like he wants to make a birthday cake for someone, it's nice to have the mix on hand. And all you have to do, if we can't access eggs, is add a mashed banana and it works just as well. And then we can still have our celebration for graduation or new baby or any of life's happy events. I keep some easy dessert items on hand. I've got chocolate pudding, I've got jello. On this shelf, I've stocked a lot of lentils and split peas. I also have garbanzo beans because we eat a ton of those. Chickpeas are great. I make a ton of Indian food. I also like hummus. It's a great source of protein and it's really cheap and easy to store. Most of my flour is kept upstairs in an airtight container, but I go through about 5 pounds a month. So I do keep a bag of it down here, and that's my backup. I also keep yeast because I make my own bread. Here are my backup pastas, lentils, and beverages. You might consider keeping big 5-gallon jugs of water. We do, not in the company store, but in our basement, we have 5-gallon jugs of water. There have been times when the electricity goes out or we have orders to not drink the water because something has gotten into it that is rendering it unsafe. And we want to be able to go for a week for 2 adults and 3 pets and be able to have clean drinking water. These powdered drink mixes make that occasion a little more palatable. When we lived out in the country, we would often get end of summer uh, warnings to not drink our well water because the nitrates from the cattle farms would seep into the groundwater and make it unsafe for consumption for cooking. With that experience, of course, you can buy water, but it's expensive and it's easier to just get the 5-gallon jugs and store it ourselves. Being outside of Portland, we enjoy good coffee as much as the next person, but I don't ever want to run out, and I would rather drink instant than not have any at all. So, with the impending trade wars with heaven knows who, I am concerned that coffee beans will become unavailable to us or horrendously expensive. And in anticipation of that, I do have some instant coffee on hand. We also have tea, chai tea, and Pero. Pero is like pretend coffee. It's a caffeine-free wheat beverage. Down here, I've got more powdered drink mix. That's stuff that we're going to use in the next couple of weeks. I stock a lot of Pepsi, and I have wine. Not a lot, but again, just like having a cake mix on hand, there are going to be occasions in life where we want to celebrate, and it's nice to have a little bit of alcohol available to us if we want to congratulate someone on a life achievement, a graduation, or a promotion. The other thing I do with it is give it away as gifts. Wanting to be prepared and anticipating potentially having no money, it's really important to me to be able to send birthday gifts or bar mitzvah, Hanukkah, all the life occasions that would be important to celebrate and let people know that they're loved. So I purchased this at Costco and it's 40 cards and it only costs $18.99. That's a really good price for a high quality card. If we are invited to something that requires a gift and a card, while we don't have income coming in, I will often pull a card out of there and then give a nice bottle of wine if that's appropriate. I also have a small collection of candles and some little toys in case it's a child. I like to give books as gifts as well. And that way we can be socially appropriate and thoughtful without breaking the bank. When the pandemic rolled around the first time, I actually had masks on hand. I have always stocked masks because we live in an area that's prone to tsunami, earthquakes, and wildfires. There could at any time be a need to have a mask. And when COVID became very prominent and a concern for us, I had all the masks we needed. In fact, I had all the food we needed for 3 months. We did not have to leave. In addition to groceries, I also keep a lot of our health and beauty aids. I keep body wash, alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, shampoo, conditioner, and soap to refill my hand pump dispensers. I keep extra toothbrushes, toothpaste, bar soap, cough syrup, pain relief, sleeping pills, a little bit of contact lens solution. And down here, I have tea lights. If the power goes out, I know exactly where the candles are, and I also have a lighter in there. This is not our complete supply of paper towel and toilet paper. I use an airlock system with my storage of paper products. I have found that children and spouses cannot be trusted to tell you when they are down to the last roll of toilet paper, so I let them believe that this is the last of it if they have to come down and collect this. When I see that this is empty, I know to shop for more, but the reality is I have a pallet of it hidden in the basement. They just don't know to look. I'm also keen to keep my cleaning products that are important to me. I always want dishwasher soap. I love spray bleach to clean all my bathrooms, laundry soap, and ammonia. You can clean just about everything with these products. Here's another box of backup spices. When my spices on the shelf upstairs start to run low, I run down and check this to make sure that I really am out before I go shopping. With the things that I have stored in here, it's really not necessary for me to go to the store every week. I can put it off for several weeks, and we found during the first pandemic, I was able to put it off for about 3 months. It's our preference to have fresh vegetables to eat, but most everything that I can make is possible with a canned version. I have canned carrots, I've got canned spinach, I eat a lot of green beans, lentils, chickpeas, and we can make our own bread. I would encourage you to be realistic about your family and your habits. There is no shame in admitting that your kids love SpaghettiOs. If that is the reality, then you should stock SpaghettiOs. Don't stock rice and beans if that is not something that your family actually eats. Look around and be honest about who you are. And if you want to incorporate new foods, the time to do it is right now, before you have a crisis. When you're going through a stressful time of job loss or lack of money, that isn't the time to introduce your kids to things that are going to make them whine. My recommendation would be to introduce one new meal a week for something that puts you closer to your goal. If you want to be more plant-based, that's great, but only do it on Mondays until you build up a repertoire of things that they're used to and excited about. Before you tell me that you don't live in a huge house and you don't have extra pantry storage or a basement, I get it. For a long time, we lived in a studio apartment. There was no bedroom, there was no storage, it was tight, and we had pets, and we still stocked. What we chose to do was use totes and put those under the bed. We also had a shelf in our entryway in the hallway for our deep pantry storage. We found places behind the sofa, under furniture, behind the dresser. There were all kinds of places that we would go up. You can put it on top of cabinets, on top of the refrigerator. You can still have a deep storage. Now, what to do if money is tight? You're already living paycheck to paycheck, and it just seems overwhelming. And you think, I don't have $1,000 to go stock up. That's okay, neither did we at first. What you do is pick out one meal that you know is a surefire winner for your family. If you can plan 7 days of meals and pick out the one that you know is going to be a hit, buy 2 of those. For me, it was chili. I knew that my family would eat chili under every circumstance, and it was really cheap to make because you just need beans and tomatoes and a flavoring packet. So what I did was put away 2 extra chili meals in a tote. When I acquired 4 of those, I could move on to another meal that I knew that we liked. And this is a good time if you do eat canned meat, like canned chicken or tuna fish, and you want to make a casserole, get your noodles, your canned meat, and whatever sauce you need to make that a complete meal, and put that away and acquire 4 of those. Before you know it, you're going to have an entire month's worth of food. You can also do this with medication. We both have prescriptions that have to be refilled every month, and on our insurance, we can refill them 5 days before they run out. I am very disciplined about doing that and refilling them 5 days early every month. And then that store builds up so that you have like an extra month. And that can really, really help you out. If you have a job loss or you lose your insurance coverage and you need to get through a month and you can't afford the $500 out of pocket for your prescription, you'll be glad you did that. I hope that these tips help you, and I hope that you find joy and comfort in this trying time by being more organized and preparing for next Tuesday.